Today's video, we're going to report our research entitled Comparison of Learning Outcomes from Online and Face-to-Face Accounting Courses. Introduction. The development and use of online courses for instruction have grown at an incredible pace in recent years, enabling students to learn from home or business locations for remove from a brick-and-mortar campus. The busy lives that individuals lead justify their willingness to pay to added costs that higher education institutions require for online courses. Online learning provides the opportunity for asynchronous time frames in low distractions, 24 hours a day and 7 days in a week environment, and many students embrace this method of instruction. The advent of online instruction has been without criticism as a means of increased revenue streams and lower faculty costs at the expense of reduced effectiveness in meeting curriculum learning objectives and students' performance measured as grades. The general perception is that online education is not as robust as the traditional face-to-face method of instruction. Online testing of course progress Online testing for course progress is typically in a non-proctored environment, and if monitored at all is within the learning platform's constraints of being time-bound. Authenticity by educators is a key concern for students enrolled in completing coursework in an online environment. Statement of the problem. The purpose of this quantitative research that encompass a quasi-experimental ex post facto design was to compare student outcomes measured as final grades from two Principle of Accounting courses, ACCT 2010 and ACCT 2020 at a public university in the Southeast, both delivered in two methods of instruction, face-to-face or F2F, and a completely online asynchronous format. One instructor taught ACCT 2010 in both methods of instruction at the participating university using identical testing patterns over a span of 3 years. A second instructor taught as ACCT 2020 in both methods of instruction at the same university using identical testing patterns over a span of 3 years as well. The study controlled for prior knowledge and aptitude by adjusting the student outcomes by the student's incoming grade point average or GPA and college admission or ACT scores. Students' age and gender were also used in measuring the dependent variable final grades. The significance of the study is very little research exists on the subject of student performance in lab-based quantitative courses such as accounting, with a sample size sufficient to project significance on whether the method of instruction impacts final grades. The, ex- the existing research is primarily very small sample sizes from a single institution for one semester and two classes. The purpose of this study is to gain clarification of the effectiveness of students' learning, measured as final grade, of online quantitative courses such as Principles of Accounting compared to traditional face-to-face courses. Significance of the study. This study determined whether or not there was significant difference in learning outcomes, measured as final grade, of business students in an online versus face-to-face format of instruction. This study contributes to the body of research in colleges of business in understanding the effectiveness of online instruction compared to a traditional face-to-face method of instruction. The methodology in this study may prove beneficial to other faculty desiring to measure the student performance of online course enrollment. Number 2. The emphasis to measure and compare student performance across various methods of instruction will verify a quality online program is in place. Continuous quality improvement is essential for colleges desiring of accreditation by the Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business, or AACSB. Maintaining program accreditations is vital for universities and seeking to measure not only final grade outcomes but also the potential influence age, gender, ACT, and GPA scores have on student success in an important aspects of this study.
I'm Roldan and I will report the review and related literature. In this section, you will read about the different literature that the researcher has read that are directly related to their study. This literature helped the researcher in order to have a clear background in the development of the study. According to Robert C. 2016, except for the delivery mechanism, the courses were meant to be as identical as feasible. Even when employing the same technology, the research showed that face-to-face learners had better negotiation outcomes than online learners. This study compared the online and face-to-face groups to see how student learning perceptions differ depending on the course, delivery method, and online environment. The result of this study indicate that the face-to-face learner perception was higher than online learning in terms of social presence, social interaction, and satisfaction, according to Sandro Tuabali and Mackley 2018. According to Michael K. Francis et al. 2019, findings suggest that online and face-to-face students may not differ meaningfully in motivation. Although online adult learners and underrepresented ethnic, racial minority students may display slightly different pattern on select motivation variables. According to Ramanayan et al. 2016, when big lecture-style classrooms were compared to small online and traditional classroom, lecture-style students learned less than students in either small classrooms. Students also fared worse on exam in large lectures halls with online assessment compared to smaller, traditional pen and paper exam. The usage of data from courses with similar size in style or instruction in the significance of the numerous articles in this part. The efficiency of this training would be influenced by the different size of traditional face-to-face lectures. McClary et al. 2019 also found that online intermediate accounting 3 and auditing student outperform student in the traditional classroom, indicating that online accounting education is acceptable. Indirectly, the findings show that student involved and adaptation to online teaching and learning are good.
Methodology. This chapter presents the method used during the study. This chapter includes the research design, respondent of the study, data gathering procedure, and statistical treatment. Research design. The research design that the researcher used was the quantitative type of research. Quantitative methods emphasize objective measurements and the statistical, mathematical, or numerical analysis of data collected through polls, questionnaires, and surveys, or by manipulating pre-existing statistical data using computational techniques. According to Sage publication 2010, quantitative research focuses on gathering numerical data and generalizing it across groups of people to explain a phenomenon. Since quantitative research deal with numerical, this type of design will help the researchers achieve their objectives, since they are seeking for the total outcomes from the online and face-to-face accounting courses. This research design refers to the use of statistical tools such as averaging, percent, and frequency. This design is appropriate to the study of the researchers. It seeks to know how many accounting students in 2021 and 2022 are more in favor of face-to-face or online and provide the number of them who is favor of face-to-face or online classes. This research is considered to provide methodical information, requires careful selection of the unit study and careful measurement of each participant. So students who are in favor of online or face-to-face. Number of students who wants to have online classes, local of the study, Isabela State University. Number of students who want to have face-to-face class, respondents accounting students. Reasons of students choosing online or face-to-face classes. Number of teachers who want to have online or face-to-face class, research instrument survey. Reasons of teachers who want to have online or face-to-face class, data gathering procedures or data analysis. Next, respondent of the study. Respondent of the study. The respondent of the study consisted of IT expert and instructors. Student of the Isabela State University, Kawayan Campus. Instructor 50. Student of RSU 450. Total is 500.
So the data gathering procedures of our research is first the researcher will complete the following tasks to attain the objective of this study. Second is the researchers conceptualize the conduct of the study through gathering the primary data. The researchers do the researching through internet and other printed materials about accounting courses. So the research design instruments to gather the data to the survey questionnaire. So third is the researchers created a draft of the survey questionnaire. Fourth is after creating the draft, the researchers presented the said draft to their subject teacher for him to validate. So fifth is after the validation, the researchers edited the corrections. 6 is the researchers presented again the survey questionnaire to the subject teacher for him to validate and finally draft the final questionnaire. 7 is the researchers waited for the signal of their subject teacher on when to start the surveying. 8 is the participants were selected through the maximum of 500 participants. The researchers gave the participants the survey questionnaire, obtaining their consent and securing their personal privacy to imply their conformity to the conducted in-depth survey. So 9 is before the conducting the survey, the researchers asked permission to the assigned subject teacher in each classroom for them to be allowed in conducting a survey. 10 is before distributing the questionnaire, the researchers read the letter and direction in answering the questionnaire. 11th is while the participants are answering the questionnaire, the researchers facilitated and roam around to assist the participants if they need help. 12 is after gathering the data, the researchers analyze the answers of the respondents. And last is based on the results, the researchers formulated the conclusion. This is the statistical treatment. The information gathered by the survey questionnaire was evaluated and interpreted. The survey's research questions were answered using a statistically weighted mean to identify issues with the current system and to evaluate the effects and benefits of the proposed system. The weighted mean and its descriptive interpretation using the Likert scale are shown in table below. Table 2, equivalent quartile deviation and interpretation of scale of comparison of learning outcomes from online and face-to-face accounting courses. So The scale is 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So the quartile division of 5 is 4.51 to 5.0, and the interpretation is excellent. So the scale 4 is the online division is 3.51 to 4.51, and the interpretation is very good. And the scale 3 is the quartile division is 2.51 to 3.50, and the interpretation is good. Then the scale 2 is the quartile division is 1.51 to 2.50, and the interpretation is fair. And the scale 1 is and the quartile division is 1.0 to 1.50, and the interpretation is